Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by associating myself with my colleague, Senator Kane's many strong statements on the need for congressional authorization for exactly the kind of military strike on Iran that the President illegally ordered on Saturday. I have been committed to Congress reasserting its responsibility under the War Powers Act since my first election, and I support Senator Kane's War Powers resolution. In fact, I ran for Congress because of this issue, so that when the drums of war start beating in Washington again, I would be in a position to make sure that our leaders fully consider the true costs of war, not just in dollars and cents, but in the sacrifices and blood of our troops. I've long said that Iran cannot obtain a nuclear weapon, but this goal could and should have been pursued through diplomatic means. There was no imminent threat to the United States or our troops. It wasn't time to strike, not when the democratically elected representative of the American people have not had a chance to weigh the costs and risks against the gains, to make an informed decision on behalf of our constituents, and to make sure that the President is not getting us into yet another forever war in the Middle East. Service members will be the ones to risk their lives if we get drawn into another unnecessary war with no plan and no end state. Their commander-in-chief owes it to them and to all Americans to uphold the Constitution that they swore to uphold and defend. Vice Admiral Cooper, I know that you are here to be considered to be CENTCOM commander, but you have also been serving as the deputy commander with all the events this week, and absent a CENTCOM posture hearing, I have questions for you in that capacity because I deem it relevant to how you will perhaps carry out your role as CENTCOM commander should you be confirmed. To note your knowledge, what did CENTCOM recommend to the White House in terms of congressional declaration of war and consultation prior to the operation?
Senator, first, I'm mindful and highly respectful of the role that you, this committee, and the Congress play overall. I think the matter of directions given and orders given are related to policy and best addressed by the Office of the Secretary of Defense and the White House. Our role from a military perspective, as it has always been, and if confirmed, will be, I will adopt the same approach, would be to provide the widest range of options to our decision makers and remain as ready as possible to implement them when ordered.
Oh, that is true, but you didn't answer my question. My question was, to your knowledge, what did CENTCOM recommend to the White House in terms of congressional declaration of war and consultation prior to the operation? What was your recommendation? I didn't ask you what they ordered you to do. I asked you what was your recommendation.
Yeah, Senator, in my current capacity, I'm very familiar with all the operations associated with these last couple of weeks. I think those conversations are best conducted in a classified environment. Okay,
let's do that then. I look forward to hearing from you in a classified environment. What's the end game that is currently being sought, and how will you know at CENTCOM if that has been achieved?
Senator, we've maintained, first and foremost, a focus on protecting our men and women in uniform for their safety. That is our priority today. We maintain a readiness for a wide range of contingencies as expected, and our role, and my role specifically, if confirmed, would be to provide my best military advice to support the policies as they would be given to us in the future. So
you're saying you don't have an opinion on what the end game would be, or what the mission accomplished, what the benchmark would be, and you can't tell us that? We're just going to bomb a foreign nation and not know what the end goal is or the op-ramp is?
Of course, those end states and goals are obviously always driven by policy, and the United States military will stand by to implement the policy direction as ordered.
Well, I was alarmed by the President's reckless statements on Sunday that suggested he might order our military to pursue regime change as the end game in Iran. Like many who served and sacrificed in Iraq, I am sick with anger and dread at the thought that in 2025, the President of the United States is talking of toppling another government in the Middle East, drawing Americans into a destabilizing military action in a volatile region, and owing the chaos that follows, perhaps for decades to come. Vice Admiral Cooper, will you commit that if confirmed as the commander of CENTCOM and tensions with Iran continue, you will provide recommendations to give Iran an off-ramp from further military action without seeking regime change in Iran as an option? Not necessarily the White House would decide what they will decide, but will you provide that as one of the options?
I would provide my best military advice based on the policy direction given to us, Senator.
Okay. With current uncertainty leading many American citizens in the region to fear being caught in the crosshairs, I am concerned about whether we're doing enough to support Americans who may want to evacuate. Admiral Cooper, can you speak to the ways that CENTCOM may help facilitate a safe and smooth evacuation of American citizens from a dangerous region if required?
Senator, CENTCOM's always postured to support the diplomatically ordered evacuations of a variety of forms. We've seen recently an authorized departure from Bahrain. We've seen authorized departure out of Israel. We've seen separate diplomatic departures from Baghdad. But in general, we're always postured to support diplomatic and policy-led direction for evacuations.
I think that will give Americans in the region comfort to hear that. Thank you.